Beginning of the season, we talked about a lot of guys having to get a little bit more selfless. It seems like, especially, Isaiah, Josh Stewart's throwing his body around blocking for that run. What's it been like to have that kind of core group? Because it seems, have you ever had anything where all of the guys are ready to
I thought our guys last year did a great job with that. I think they've continued with that. I think Coach Dunn did a great job, and Coach Meacham with those guys. So, I think they've really taken that to heart. Again, when it becomes harder is when you play a lot of snaps. There's no reason when you're playing 65, 75 snaps a game you can play hard all the time. And with us rotating, there's no reason.
What are your thoughts on what you've seen so far out of Kansas on film?
Well, again, it seems like I said this a while, a couple years ago or last year. I think it's a new staff. I think they're not only evaluating what they have there personnel-wise, but their players get used to Dave Campbell and David Jackson, very good football coach, get used to what he wants. But I think they play. I think they see it. I think up until last week, they were very, very competitive on defense. They not really given up a lot of big plays. They had really, had a lot of missed tackles. That's a sign of a good defense because you're not giving up as many big plays. You're making them go the distance. They created some turnovers. They had missed a lot of tackles, so it kept them in the game. It kept them, if you looked at the points they'd given up, they're actually statistically very good. So I think last week kind of snowballed on them a little bit. They were playing pretty good, but then the turnovers against a really good team, a physically dominant team, probably. But again, I think there's nothing about it that you look at and say, okay, we don't count on us. We need to score more touchdowns last week. The yards don't really matter. It's the points you put up. So, and you can't carry that over. I say that every week. You can't carry over what average is. It's the very next week you have to play well and you have to find a way to score enough points to win and be consistent. So I've said you'd rather average 35 a game. You'd rather get 35 a game than average 42. And 3 or 4 times a year you don't get that number. So you're looking for consistency from the effort that you give and the detail and the things that make you have success on offense.
Coach Gundy's got the chance to tie Pat Jones' record for most wins here at OSU. What would that be like for you to be a part of that, his success to go with it?
Well, I'm not a very big part of it. A lot of those wins came without me being here. So I think it's a credit to him and where he's brought this program. And I think that it says volumes to, like I said, where the program's coming. You have 9 wins, 11, 12. That's a great run. So and again, it's a credit to a lot of the coaches that were here previously. Obviously Joe Wickline and Doug Meacham are still here, Rob Glass, and the people that helped build this complex. So there's a lot of people that have a hand in anybody's success, but it's a direct compliment to Mike and the guys that he's hired and the coaches that have put the effort in and the players.
How is I saw a stat today where it said like the teams averaging 30, Big 12 teams are averaging 30 points in a loss, and that used to be like 30 points. 10 years ago, 30 points would win you games. Now it's not even in the ballpark. Have you ever seen this offensive explosion like this? This is the conference goal.
No, it's kind of the way it's going. I don't think it's stopping. I think it's the way that the country's headed. I think you're seeing it with the Patriots yesterday. If you're watching that game, they're going no huddle and they're going some tempo stuff. So I don't think that's changing. I think the more wide open you get the game and the more plays that you run, you're going to get exposed to more. You're going to have more turnovers. I would bet if you looked at today's game too, you're also talking about there's probably more turnovers than there ever was before. I bet if you looked at these statistics of the offense, the climbing of the statistical ladder will tell you there's more plays and more turnovers, more swings in the game. So I think that lends itself to it. But I don't think it's going back.
So we're just at the tip of the iceberg, you think?
I think so. More teams that run spread, especially teams that throw it, which we have in our league, that gives you a chance at the end of the game to still score points. if you're a run-it style offense at the end of the game, even when you're trying to catch up, you're not as adept at doing that. So you see that in a lot of games, now with scores at the end of the game. They keep building that up. That Baylor game and West Virginia game kept going that way. So that's kind of the way it was. Like you said, at a certain point, you thought 30 points would be enough to win. I remember when I first got coaching 20 years ago, and some of the teams were going one back. It was, if you were averaging in the mid-20s to upper 30s, you were leading the league. You were leading the league. That was 20 years ago. Now you're not even in the top 70. You're not even competing. So now there is something to that, to where you don't want to play so dang fast you give your opponent the ball back so often. I think it's here to stay, and I think more and more teams are going to continue to do it.
Make you feel better that you guys kind of been at the trend of that curve, or could keep up with those numbers?
Well, I wouldn't say I was at the trend of it. I just came in with a system that was already here. But do I think that what was taken? There was a number of people that brought this in and did some tempo things. Obviously what Dana did with the air raid offense that was developed by, I would guess, a number of people. Obviously brought to the forefront by Al Monken and Mike Leach, but obviously a number of guys have done it and done it successfully. So, it still comes down to, and then Oregon has their way of doing it. Going no huddle and tempo and misdirection and running the ball. So everybody's kind of taken a certain flavor of the system. And some people are still no huddle and don't tempo and don't go fast and run misdirection and those kind of things. So,